Hello everyone, my name is Gus and welcome to Divintok Plus. Today we have a review for a product that I don't think anyone has ever asked us to review this product, but what they've asked us to do on the main channel on Divintok is not so much of an ask, it's more of a comment, is how come nobody has invented a device where you can talk underwater? And I think the question is valid. The question comes from so many incidents that we have reacted to and we have reviewed where people could have just talked to each other and be like, hey, I'm stuck, or hey, I went the wrong way, or where are you, or whatever, right? And I've talked about how when we dive a rebreather, this is I'm just gonna call it the mouthpiece of a rebreather. It's called ESV, but the mouthpiece that we use in a rebreather, as you can see, it has like this box, this area right here, which is full of air and allows us to talk on the water. I'll give you an example. So if I put this in my mouth,
I can still talk and you can still kind of understand what I'm saying.
So I just said I can still talk and you can kind of understand what I'm saying. And underwater sounds like that. So underwater I can be like,
Wait. No. Go that way. Go that way.
Right, and kind of in combination with the hand gestures, you're telling people go that way or come back or whatever, or
Woody, hurry up. Go!
stuff like that I normally say in my dives. You can kind of talk. So the idea is that you can do that because of that gap, this box of air. This is the Divintok Go DSV. This thing allows you to talk underwater, to kind of talk underwater. But most of the communication that we do underwater as divers is using our hands. So anyway, there was a company that came out and said, you know what? We're going to resolve this. We're going to make this air, this capability of talking underwater, available to the masses. We're going to make it available to every diver out there, which is basically most people are diving open circuit, not a rebreather like the Divintok Go. So they said, we're going to just make the same idea, the same concept of this air chamber that you can talk into open circuit, right? And they came up with this thing. This is the Divintok. And I'm just going to read it straight from the website because it's interesting. Okay. So Divintok's powerful hydroacoustic noise reduction algorithm powers this device, this thing, which is actually only half of what you need to be able to communicate, but I'll talk about it in a second. So let's read a little bit more. 50 meters, 150 feet or so, efficient communication. Proprietary noise reduction algorithm, a patented technology, enables longer distance communication. It's 40 meters waterproof depth, which is interesting. I guess 50 meters communication, but only 40 meter waterproof. I guess as long as you're as shallow or shallower than 40 meters, but 50 meters apart from each other, you can talk. I wonder how that works in like a cave where you have obstacles and it's not just open water, beautiful, limitless, signaling and communication. 4-hour battery life, 360 degrees signal coverage, colorful LED, light effects. And again, I just want to mention, by the way, shout out, before I get deeper into this, shout out to Divintok for sending us 2 of these units to test for me and Woody. I've talked about it in the past, and I'm just going to be brief. I've talked about it in the past where we tell people, look, we don't charge anyone to review your product. The only thing we ask is that you send us the product for us to review and expect honesty. Expect 100% honesty back. And why I mentioned that is because in the past, we have been approached by companies out there in the industry that obviously value our opinion and value the fact that you value our opinion and want their products featured on Divintok. And we say we've never charged anyone. We don't have any sponsors. We've never charged anyone to have their products reviewed or for us to dive their products on Divintok and talked about them. So the only condition is we will be honest about the review and say what we think about the product with no filters. Our reviews are not bought for, right? We don't get paid to only talk positive things unlike other channels. So several companies have approached us in the past and said, hey, I want you to review my new fins, my new mask, my new regulators, my new whatever, but you have to say something positive about them. We want to make sure the review is positive. So we always respond and say, we can't tell you if it's going to be positive before we try it. What we can tell you is that it's going to be 100% honest. So this is our honest review. So once again, thank you to Divintok for sending us 2 of the units. They sent a super nice letter, by the way. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but in the letter, they lay out their mission, which is to make communication underwater something that is not exclusive to like commercial divers and professionals that can afford super expensive, devices. This is supposed to be cheap and easy for everyone to be able to have and communicate underwater. That's their mission. They also said that we get the first 2 out of 100 units they made. So thank you again for sending us the first 2. And we tested them. We took it seriously. So now, again, they said that they're going to make this available for everyone. But if you look at the price online, is $900. And funny enough, 98 left in stock. So have they not sold another? All right, whatever. The point is $900 for this device. And that is cheap. And making it available for the masses, I don't know. I feel like most decent regulators are even less than $900. So I don't know how available that makes it. But anyway, what you're here for is the actual review. How did this work on the water? So anyway, you take this device, and if you look at the picture on the website, you kind of see what it looks like, right? You attach the device. I'm going to zoom in here. You attach that device to the regulator. So you're going to take your regulator. Here I have my regulator, okay? So this is my regulator. Just forget about... I'll take it. Hold on. To not make it confusing, I'm going to take the necklace off of it, okay? So it looks like a regulator that you're used to seeing, okay? So this is my regulator. So basically, you're going to take the mouthpiece off. It has a zip tie. You cut that off. It looks like this once you take it off, okay? And you're going to slide this device, okay, this piece right here. If you notice, I'm going to get closer here. If you notice, this looks like that, kind of. You see? So you're going to take that and you're going to slide it in the regulator and pair them up kind of how you saw in the picture below. Well, actually, you don't need to see it in the picture because, again, as I mentioned, they sent us 2 units. So I installed one in my other regulator. So it looks like this. Look at this abomination. Okay? This thing is ridiculous. So you go from looking like this. Let me show you. Okay? Like a regular diver to looking like this. Now, the way the mouthpiece works in a regulator is it has all these things right here, this teeth that you can bite into, right? So it's easy. It goes in your mouth, you bite into those things, and you're good to go. This is not. This has 2 little taps, plastic taps, right there, and you're going to bite into those. So it's not as inside your mouth as the regular regulator mouthpiece is. So this is just like you're biting into those 2 little plastic things. So let me show you.
Okay. So now you can kind of hear what I'm saying.
I'm talking like if I take this off, imagine it's in my mouth. This is how I'm talking. Now you can kind of hear what I'm saying. It looks like that.
So I cannot move my mouth.
I just said I cannot move my mouth. Is constantly biting on the mouthpiece just like that and trying to talk. So it's not the most comfortable thing, but again, if it's just to say, hurry up or come back or I'm lost, you could kind of see it.
So just in your mouth like this, and you're dying.
Now, the problem is that there's no seal. Like when you have a regulator in, this lip right here around the mouthpiece seals with your lips. Your lips kind of seal everything and you're breathing air and water is not getting in. This is not like that. There is no seal in this one. So you're biting and this thing is like around your whole mouth So water is kind of trickling in. It's not as comfortable. But again, I'm a swimmer, so water in my mouth is not a big deal. You just push it out, right? You just blow it out. But look how big that is. So now you start wondering, oh, by the way, that is just one piece of it. The other piece is in the mask, which you hang off the strap like this. So let me put the whole thing on so you can see kind of the full setup. Okay? So you have the mask, and this thing goes over your ear, okay? Let me clean my face here. So goes like this, and then
Yeah, goes like that. And this is what you look like underwater. It's ridiculous. What in the world?
now imagine having to donate, like somebody, your body comes to you and it's like, I'm out of air. You're gonna pass this, and what? First, you think in panic somebody's gonna bite those two things and breathe out of it if they're panicking and they ran out of air. Number one, and number two, when they pull, they can't even get too far because this thing is pulling on your. It's outrageous. It's preposterous. Now, you could say that the looks that are ridiculous, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe we got a prototype and they're working and they're going to come up with version 2, which is smaller. Because, I mean, if you compare the size of it, actually, I'm going to compare without the regulator. Let me put these regulators down for a second. Okay, I'm just going to use the device alone. If you compare, look at the size comparison. Right? It's like, I don't know how many times as big, twice as big maybe. Maybe not twice, but this is definitely bigger than this, okay? Than the space that you need to talk, because we proved that with the DSV from the rebreather you can talk. This, I think, is unnecessarily too big. Maybe the next version will be a little bit smaller.
And it doesn't look as hot.
But it looks ridiculous. Okay, but now you could say, who cares if it looks ridiculous? As long as it works. Now, I mentioned that the mouthpiece and the thing on your mask, which is your speaker, they are only half of the solution. The other half is this transceiver that is on the surface. So basically, imagine having this on the boat. If you're diving off a boat, you leave this. You see, you turn it on. I don't know if you can see the collar is red right now because the battery's low, I guess. You leave this on the boat, so you hang it. It has like a little loop back here, so I guess you put like a bolt snap or something and you hang it, right? So somebody can hear while you're diving. This doesn't go underwater. And then you drop this cable, okay, which has this thing, this, I guess, transmitter receiver combo, antenna, however you call it, that goes in the water. And then when the units are communicating, this will pick it up and play it on the speaker. Now, you would think that this you just drop in the water and you're good to go, and that's enough cable. But no, the cable goes on and on and look at this thing. What is that? It's like 30 meters of cable. So do you have to drop the entire cable in the water? I mean, I guess if you're shallow, you can just take a little bit of it and just drop that little bit and leave the rest on. Like, I don't. And where do we go from here? But anyway, the point is, let's set all that aside. The fact that it looks ridiculous, the fact that it is so much cable. Now I understand why it's 50 meters range, and that's because the cable is probably 50 meters long. But just set that all aside. The question is, can you talk? Can people hear you when you're talking to each other? Is it effective at communicating? No, it's terrible. It's really, really bad. I mean, I could not understand anything. And as a matter of fact, what we did is we were at the Plaza Resort in Bonaire, and their training pool is great because it has these windows where you can stand on the outside and see people underwater like doing their training. It's pretty cool, take pictures and stuff. So I went in the pool with the device, set it up, and then outside the water there was there was the other person holding the speaker and trying to communicate back and forward. By the way, the speaker, this thing right here, it's not it's like a walkie-talkie. You have a button right here, so it's not like you can talk, hey, whatever. Like, you have to be on it. Like, it's a walkie-talkie. There's a button on the side. You have to be on it and be like, hey, can you repeat that again? And then release, and then the other person will talk. This device right here is also like a walkie-talkie. Here's your button. So it's not like you're diving or you're holding a camera and you're talking to each other. It's like, dude, come here, or bring the camera. No, you're gonna be like this
with a camera, and then
if you want to talk,
hey, can you come here, please?
Let go. Then the other person talks, and then whoever's on the boat can talk. It's like walkie-talkies. It's not constant communication. When I've been underwater with comms, with communication, a full face mask with comms, there's no button. You just talk to each other. It's always open. It's everybody can talk. The button is like the Surface operator. The ones that I've used, I assume there's some that are open, but the ones that I've used, the Surface does have a button to press, mainly because on the Surface there's a lot more noise and stuff, and you don't want to have that coming through. But in this one, all the units, you have to press a button to talk, which is pretty interesting. But anyway, I go in this pool, and we're right, like, I know it says 50 meters range or whatever. We're a meter away. We're like 2 meters away, like not even 2. Like, it's less than a meter. Where I can see through the glass that we're talking to each other, and we cannot understand what we're saying. Like, the things that I understood, it's because I'm looking through the glass and looking at her mouth when she says something like, hey, are you okay, or whatever. Then I'm reading her lips and connecting that to my audio, which has a little bit of a delay anyway. And that is what makes me understand. But for the most part, I am not understanding anything that is coming through. They're not understanding anything I'm saying either. And the times that they understood me is because I talk slowly without breathing, because that's another thing, the breathing noise, right? On the rebreather, it's quiet. There's no bubbles. But here, every time you breathe out, there's bubbles trickling out of the unit. So you can't avoid it. Even if you're not breathing out, you're talking.
I am talking right now.
I am talking right now. You're blowing air as you talk. So that means bubbles are coming out of it, which get in the way of the microphone. And it's hard to understand anything. Like, honestly, the times that they understood me is because I was also motioning through the glass and they can see me. When I'm saying, like, go that way, and I'm using like this, go that way, because I need to press the button. I don't get it. I don't understand why this is a product. I understand why somebody tried to solve that problem, which we've said many times it's not really a problem. If it was a real problem, we would have comms underwater. Okay, we know how to communicate underwater. We have wet notes that we can write and show each other for things that are hard to say with the DSV. So if I'm trying to say something like, look, if I'm saying something that is hard for them to understand, I'm gonna be like, and write it and be like, we forgot to bring whatever. I'll be able to write it. They'll see it. They nod or okay, and then we keep going. So, like, I don't see the need for it. If you're in murky waters and you can't really see each other, I think that good buddy systems where you're close to each other is better than having comms constantly. And that's another thing, is like constantly being able to talk to somebody during a dive. Like, no, that's the time where you want to have peace and quiet and relax, right? You don't want to be talking. So I just don't see the need for this product. I definitely don't see the need for $900. I wouldn't pay $9 for this product. I mean, I'm sorry to say it. I wish I could say this thing is awesome. Whoever came up with it was genius. It works great. It's not perfect. It's not like you're on a cell phone out of the water, perfect communications. But man, you can understand. Like, it was clear, right? I am stuck or whatever. But honestly, it just doesn't make any sense. The way it worked, it was more of an alert device, which, by the way, you have by just banging on your tank or making a noise with a rattle or some other way. But that's really how it was. Like, it was just like something would happen and it would make me look, hey, what is that? And try to look to see what was happening, because there's absolutely no chance that you will understand the message that is coming through. It doesn't make any sense. And again, there are some videos about this. Let's put some videos so you can see for yourself. You can hear for yourself what it sounds like. Did you catch any of that? Me neither. I didn't catch any of it. Here's another one. Does that ring any bell? Does that sound like effective communication to you? I guess there is one that is the closest one that we got to, you can kind of understand in perfect conditions what I'm saying. But, are you using the glass to your advantage, trying to understand what is it that I'm saying? You be the judge.
I want pizza also.
So anyway, I'm not trying to beat this dead horse. As I mentioned, I don't think this is worth it. I think it's far from being a product that is viable. I appreciate them sending us these two. And we typically give away the products that we receive for review. But this product, I think, is dangerous to give to people, because, again, you have to train on how to react if there's an emergency. Passing the regulator, I feel like if there's a real emergency, you're not going to have a chance to do it like in class, where you can calmly hold their hand and give it to them and ask if they're okay and reach out for your regulator and put it in your mouth. Are you good? Oh my God, I love it. Like that. In reality, they're going to come and they're going to rip the regulator out of your mouth, which is not a big deal if they do that. When we dive a long hose, I have it around my neck, I have it in my mouth, and I have the other one in a necklace. That's why I had a necklace earlier, sitting right underneath my neck. So if they come and rip it off my mouth, the long hose, all I do is boop, just put it from here, boop, right into my mouth. No big deal. So I'm ready for that to happen. And if not, if it works like it works in the class where I can just pass it, then I can do that too. Just pull out over my head and pass it around. So I am ready to either pass it consciously or have it ripped off my mouth. No problem. I'll be ready to react to that. But with this thing, I think here's what's going to happen. They're going to rip it out of their mouth. They're going to try to put it in their mouth, and it's not going to work. And then they're going to rip the other one off. And now you both are going to be fighting for your lives. So I think this thing doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. It actually can cause more problems than it solves. So that's my review. I'm sorry that if you're watching this from Divintok, I don't mean to slam your product. I'm not doing this on purpose. I just don't see the value on it. During that trip in Bonaire, though, I did get to review a watch that Oris sent me, a dive watch. And in case you didn't see that review, I'm going to leave it right here. If you were looking to purchase Divintok, I recommend you wait for version 2. Right now, I just don't think it's ready, unfortunately. But we'll see you in the next one.